I needed to hear it a lot. I think COVID has kind of made us drop some balls, but I think we enjoy the slower, some of the slowness that we've started to get used to. But as things open up, this is definitely something I needed to hear, that it's okay to, we'll chat with that anyway. So, uh, few um, a few housekeeping items before we get started. Um, but first, I'm Diana Mattingly with the WBC, the Women's Business Connection. I'm the president, and hosting with me, Laurie Ryan from the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce, and she'll be speaking in just a moment. If you want to change your name by clicking in your Brady Bunch square, the three dots up in the corner, and put your company name after your name. So we don't have name tags. So this will be your name and your company, so we know who you are. Feel free to put your contact information and any kind of chat information, any questions in the chat function at the very bottom of your screen if you have this kind of device. And please stay on mute. I know some of you are outside and birds are chirping, and maybe some people are inside and have dogs or babies. And we just want to make sure that whoever is speaking has everyone's attention. And then when we go in the chat rooms, you can unmute yourself. Again, you can put things in the chat. We will be looking at it. And we were going to be we're going to have 3 different breakout sessions so we can discuss what we heard from Tiffany. And that'll be a great way to introduce yourself and meet some new people. At the very end, if you can stay with us, we're going to be raffling off the books from Tiffany. So stay tuned for that. And if you did not have the opportunity to watch the video yet, please stay in and have the conversation with us, because it's going to be great. You still have till 8 p.m. tonight to watch the video. And at this time, I welcome Laurie Ryan with the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Diana. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're all here. I know it is a beautiful day, and there are a lot of other events in the county, but I'm so glad you're taking the time to meet with us today to discuss. I thought as well, it's one of my favorite. I was laughing and talking back to the screen earlier, Tiffany, so it was really, really awesome. And I'm very excited for next month's as well. We are having 2 video chat speakers, and it's going to be Jen Kronberger is our moderator. So we're very excited about that. But first, let's invite our favorite doctor from Seepster Eye Care. For people that have been here from the very beginning, Dr. Michelle Pendrak does work for Seepster, and she is now going to speak again about what the company offers in terms of not just laser eye care, but all eye care. So without further ado, I'd like to thank Seepster Eye Care and welcome Dr. Michelle Pendrak for today's sponsor.
All right, thank you, Laurie. And of course, thank you to the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce for putting on another women's leadership event. So yeah, this one, first I want to say that this video definitely spoke to me as well. Definitely with COVID, it's okay to drop the ball, and it's always nice to have that reminder. At Seepster Eye Care, we are currently opening up a dry eye center. I've been treating dry eye for years, which is really exciting to me that not only am I going to have a bigger space to do that in now, but we are going to be able to bring in more equipment and more treatment options. So one of the lines from the video that really spoke to me was actually from the bonus video, where she talked about how her favorite definition of leadership was empowering others to work towards a shared purpose. And especially with dry eye, it's interesting. There's been this movement towards, out-of-pocket procedures, meaning when my dry eye patients are coming to me, I basically am recommending these procedures where they have to come back into the office and, I have to talk to them about why it's beneficial to spend their time and money, which, both are very precious, right, on these treatments. And if I don't have my staff on board with me, that can be a game changer. And we've all walked into those offices, right, where, people are energized and they've bought into the system and they're saying, oh, this is so great. You've got to try this IPL. This is a game changer. IPL is intense pulse light therapy, great dry eye treatment. And by the way, as a bonus, nice anti-aging treatment as well. So big difference, right? When you're walking in somewhere and people are really excited and energized about, the treatment options that we have, versus when you walk in somewhere and you have a staff that's just sort of like going through the motions. So, I love these events, and, they're really beneficial for me too, because as the leader of the Dry Eye Center, I'm responsible for getting my staff energized and excited about what we do. I certainly am. I love being able to, make my patients more comfortable and help them see more clearly. We're coming off of, dry eye season, which was the winter. Everything's dry, cold, windy. So a lot of people kind of, have to suffer through the winter, especially now with the masks, during COVID. Definitely, makes the dry eye worse. They actually came up with this term, mask associated dry eye, MADE. But now that it's allergy season, a lot of people don't know what's going on with their eyes. Is it allergies? Is it dry eye? The two definitely make each other worse. And, a lot of the over-the-counter allergy medications dry you out. So there's ways to treat both. There's ways to figure out, which one is bothering you the most. So, if you or anybody is having trouble with their eyes, especially right now, I'd be happy to see you for an evaluation. It's what I do. It's what I'm passionate about. Hopefully my staff is passionate about it too. And if not, these videos are certainly helpful. And so, I also love in the videos that she talks about finding balance. So, for me today, I have to shift my balance from going from a dry eye specialist to mom youth sports chauffeur. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to stick around the entire time today. I've got to get my kids to their sporting events, but I did appreciate in the video that she told me it was okay to not, live up to every expectation. So with that, again, I'd like to thank the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce for putting on this event, and of course, all of you for your time, because we know how precious everybody's time is.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle. Thank you so much again for sponsoring this series.
Absolutely.
And it is now my pleasure to introduce our facilitator today for the discussion. Great friend of mine that I'm honored to call a friend of mine for I think over almost 15 years now. Just a little story. I don't think I told Michelle this, but I met Michelle through the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce about 14 or 15 years ago, and I believe she was the chairman of the chamber at the time. I was brand new to the area and a brand new bank manager, and it was expected, for new members to go up to the podium and introduce themselves as new members, and I couldn't do it. And here Michelle was the speaker. She was at the podium. She's well-spoken, very professional, and I don't think I told her, but she was still to this day one of my business idols. So I strive to be just like her, working very hard to do that. So when Laurie suggested that she would be one of our speakers that are our facilitators, I knew she'd be perfect. Not only that, but she works really well with women understanding finances. She serves in several leadership roles, gives her time generously to several committees, including the Casino Night Committee of the Chamber. And I'm happy to introduce Michelle Burkholder with the Burkholder Team Financial Advisors.
Well, thank you, Diana. I don't know if I can follow up after that. She made me sound much more amazing than you're going to be disappointed. But so when I was first given the assignment to do the topic of dropping the ball, I asked Lori if I should take that personally. Because the first thing, if you're an overachiever like me, I think everyone in this room, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, does she think I always drop the ball? Is that why she gave me that topic? Because my initial thought was, that's the most horrible thing in the world, is to drop the ball. And so spending some time this weekend going through the LeaderCast presentation was really a big eye opener for me, because I never considered dropping the ball as being a positive or something I should be doing in my life. And I don't think there's anyone on this call that can't come up with a reason that they should be dropping the ball on something. I know we were laughing before everyone joined about how this was so pertinent for all of us, particularly women, who have all these different roles. And we always feel like, if you're in the role of mother at this moment, you're not doing a good job of being leader. And if you're doing the role as leader, you're not being a good daughter or parent. So it's always quite the juggle. So I'm not going to spend any more talking. I'm going to start getting to the breakout. So the first question we're going to ask, Lori, I'm not sure, are you going to change the screen? What are the primary roles you play that you've created false expectations for yourself? So we're going to take a couple minutes and break out, and then we'll come join again.
I am going to put us in some breakout rooms. We'll be in there for 10 minutes and talk on that question, which I will put back into the room. So
And I can repeat it. What are the primary roles you play that you've created false expectations for yourself?
excellent. And we are going to and then I'm going to open all rooms. See you on the other side.
My answer, Betty, is no.
Okay.
It's just me.
But now I want to know the question.
It's just me. No, if there's anyone else to help take care of my dad, that answer would be a big NO. So it's all good, but I didn't want to leave Betty hanging. So
Thank you.
I was hoping to be in one, that funny. That was one of the roles that came up in our room as well. Did any other room talk about being a caregiver for a parent?
No,
Did that come up in every room?
no.
We didn't.
Oh, that's interesting. Anything anybody want to share from their breakout session?
Cassie?
Me? What, my final thought there?
Go ahead, Cassie, as the new mom, tell us what it's like.
Well, we were just talking at the end there when she said she gets the question like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? And I personally, in the last like 8-9 months, have gotten that question. I don't even know how many times, at least 20. I can't count anymore. And I mean, you can probably hear him in the background, but and you just want to like shake him and be like, I'm not doing it all. Like, it's not happening. I am like this. Things are sometimes falling apart. So that it was so relatable. But you can drop the ball and it's okay. Anyway.
And I was even thinking the anxiety I felt of not being there for my child's first step, but like, who knows, he might have taken a first step and the babysitter didn't tell me, you know what I mean? But, you just have this anxiety that you have to be there and be that person all the time. And it's really good to know that it's okay. You don't have to.
Interesting. So how about, is there anyone on the call that doesn't have the parent role? That feels like, okay, so Joyce, do you have the anxiety of, I don't have children, so I should be able to take on more? Do people give you that? I don't think you have that, but do people put that on you?
No, but I've had people tell me my life is incredibly easy because I don't have children. I've had people tell me I'm smart for not having children. It depends on the day. But no, there's always something else. Like one of the things that I have is that I think my friends view me as somebody who is totally put together and never has an issue. And as if I'm this rock that I'm not allowed to have an issue. I always have to be, I have to be available for them. I think they would fall apart if I fell apart. It's a very odd dynamic, and I have no idea where it came from.
I think my breakout session, my team would also agree with what you just said. We all kind of said that, at many points during the day, we're just hanging by a thread. And a lot of it is because of these ideas that we have put in our head that we can't drop the ball, that we have to be perfect in all the different roles that we're in. And like you're saying, Joyce, that we have to be the rock for our friends. We can't be the one that depends upon them. Does anybody else have something that came up in their group that you want to share?
Betty? Were you going to share something? I didn't know.
No.
Okay.
So not from in our group, but what you just said, Michelle, as a leader, we do feel like we have to lead the way always and put our best foot forward, be the rock, and so on. As somebody in direct sales, it's an interesting thing. I have learned that when I am the big I am at the front of the room, I am limiting the growth of my team. That when I can show my vulnerability and show that, no, I drop balls and I'm not perfect, that allows them to step forward. And so, Michelle, you're saying about that was a learning experience that I fortunately had several years ago. And my team exploded after I stopped being so perfect or as perfect as I could be, or showing them that I was as perfect as I could be.
Suzanne, that was the perfect layup for me.
Oh, good.
Almost like I paid you. So the next thing we're going to talk about, and it's something that came up in the breakout session that I was in, sorry, Laura, okay, so the next question is, the only way that we can get past trying to be perfect in every role is to start delegating. So our second question is going to be, what steps can you take to improve your delegation skills? So I know Lori's going to set us up. And thank you, Suzanne, for setting us up with the perfect segue.
You're welcome.
Hopefully this will work.
Seconds left, and then
And then it pulls you back in early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might have been me.
Wonderful. You know what? I forgot to mention how wonderful. There's several of you on the call that I haven't seen yet this year. So it's really nice to see your faces, even if it's not face to face.
Yeah.
So other than, hi Beth. Other than Suzanne, do you have any other, anything, big words of wisdom or great ideas that came out of your breakout session?
Well, I think it was said a couple times. Randy brought it up about, and Tiffany said as well, but deciding on your number one priority. When you know what your priority is, it makes it a lot easier to choose to let some things. It's like, no, make the decision, know what you want, make the decision, and say, this can be delegated, this can be done differently. Like house cleaning, seem to be one of the big things, right? When you let go of needing to be the one in charge of house cleaning, that frees up a lot of time.
It does. It does.
Get a Roomba.
And give us a clutter.
Unless no one picks up the slack, then you have a house like mine. Then you need to hire somebody.
Anything else that came up in the breakout? Joyce,
It didn't come up, but I just want to say that everyone on this call probably has at least a dozen things that they learned because somebody delegated to them.
Mm-hmm.
So now it is our turn to delegate to others to give them that opportunity. So when we hesitate to do that, think of the opportunity that somebody else is missing.
Very good point.
Great
Brenda,
point.
were you going to say something and I interrupted?
Oh, that's okay. Someone has said that they heard someone tried delegating and had in their mind we're not sure where they came up with this 80% rule. If the person can do it at least 80% as good as they would have, then that's okay. So I sort of think that's kind of an okay benchmark. Maybe at home with the house cleaning or whatever. Nobody may ever, clean or organize to your standard, but if delegating it takes so much off your plate and they're 80% good, effective, whatever, then that's good enough. So I might try that.
So we talked about that 80-20 in our breakout, being the Pareto principle. And wow, to talk to Cassie, we all wish that when we were young moms, we knew what that was. So how awesome is it that this dialogue is out here for young moms and young entrepreneurs and business women? I don't think this was we were having this dialogue 20 years ago, or creating those systems or delegating. So it's really a blessing.
We had to prove we were like the men, so we couldn't have those discussions. We had to be 120%, not 80%. In a lot of
Here it comes.
cases.
Oh, BB.
Love his haircut.
In our group, we talked, we mentioned about delegating to kids, and kids love responsibility. They love to feel like they're contributing to the group. And some people talked about, making lunch and making breakfast and all that, but they love that. They love being asked to take on responsibility. So that's another thing about, what people are missing if you don't delegate to them.
Yeah, Peter brought up the same thing. She's teaching her children early how to be self-sufficient.
Yes.
It's about empowering others, and then also letting go of our need to control everything, and also then looking at the gifts of those around us and saying, what are you going to bring in? And let's find out together. And it's like trusting, going from, just me doing it to then trusting others, that having them be able to do it, and then adjusting what my expectations are to creating an even bigger picture when we work together.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to keep us on track. The next question is, we have our last breakout session. The question is, where should you be dropping the ball? So question 3 is, in what areas do you need to drop the ball?
All right, that means me. I'm up. Okay. Recruit.
Almost done, then we'll go to the grocery store.
So Sienna, I can't, there. Sienna, I feel like you wanted to say something before we did the last question.
Oh, no, because we were talking about delegating, and I said, I don't like to cook dinner that much. It's kind of the one stress level I would love to be able to delegate. I discovered that my 15-year-old loves to grocery shop. So I drive him to the grocery store. I finish up my emails for the day. He goes in, he gets a list, he gets everything, gets back in the car, hands me my